Hi, everybody. Um, I hope I can present this to you without too much trouble. I still have my cold, and today, for some reason, my asthma decided to act up. So I hopefully can get through this. Um, I feel like I'm being told to give you guys a message. I know that I was given a message, and the I found out, was told by the angels and God, um, back in the 80s, early 90s. The early 90s, um, that I would be living for hundreds of years, not just a short time, but a very, very, very long time. And that things would be happening in my lifetime to make this happen. And here and there throughout from that time on, I do read palmistry, and I would run into people whose palms would show me that they too were going to be living for extended periods of time, um, not just the normal, 100 years, but way beyond that. And at first I thought, there's got to be something wrong with how I'm reading this, or, but the angel said, no, you're reading it correctly. And then I said, well, is there something wrong with my hand that my lifeline wraps around the back of my thumb and comes back up and wraps around, and around my wrists? And the angel said, no, you're reading it correctly. You are right. You're going to live for a very, very long time. And I wasn't told back then how that was going to happen. It was just another one of those have faith situations, which I've run into many times in my lifetime, and I'm still having faith. I'm 62 years old now, and if they're correct, I'll be living for hundreds of years more. So um, there will be a time, according to them, in the not too distant future, that I'm going to look very young and be super healthy, and things are going to change drastically. Well, they've been trying to give me messages here and there, um, but sometimes there are things lost in those messages. That's why I haven't shared this with you before, because I knew that they're trying to give me messages, but I wasn't sure um, what it all meant and how it all would fall together. And last night I had a prophetic dream, which I have quite a few of those. And in my dream, um, I heard the angels with me, and they said, it's coming. It's almost here. It's coming. And then this noise. I mean, at first I thought it was like a trumpet, and real loud trumpet. And then I thought it was more like a siren. Um, but it was just a loud noise, and it went on for a long time. And it just kept going. And I live in a small community, but I wasn't there. I was up at my property, up north here. And I, you know, up there we're like 3 miles from the nearest siren firemen's department. And so I don't think we can hear the siren as well as I was hearing it. It was really loud. And I knew that Carl would be coming home really quickly. The angels were telling me that he needed to get home and that we needed to be together. And he did make it home in time. And then I saw what looked like a big picture in God's hand. And God was pouring this energy, like God's white light, but this energy, depending on which direction I looked at it from, it was like a prism. One direction it was pink, another direction it was blue, another direction it was green, and then white. It was rather thick, and he was pouring it out over the earth. And I watched as it just, came down onto the earth and spread out and just engulfed the whole earth. And I felt like I was being covered with a heavy blanket, and I couldn't stand up anymore. I was outside watching and looking because of the noise and just, the angels telling me it's coming, it's coming. So I went outside to look. And like I said, it felt like this big, heavy blanket just on top of me. So I had to lay down. And um, Carl was with me, and we laid there for a while. And I just relaxed because the angels said, relax and breathe it in and know that this is from God and that this is how it is supposed to be. So I started just breathing it in, staying calm, um, getting used to this different feeling. Um, and then I felt like almost like I was being lifted up. I didn't die. We didn't die. We were alive. And it was like I was being lifted up. And now I'm not sure if we were being moved to another earth or if we were just being moved beyond the veil and into a different dimension. And in this dimension, there were beings there, angels, who were there to help us and to explain to us what was going on and, calm us. I wasn't upset or anything. Carl was a little bit anxious, but because I've spoken with him about this, he was pretty good. Um, so finally we got up and just looked around, and the surroundings were very similar, but yet quite different. Our belongings weren't there, and our land was there. And but the power lines that run through our property weren't there, and um, our camper wasn't there, and pretty much nothing was there, but these beings were there, and they uh, were helping us and teaching us how to build our home, and um, what we needed to do to live there, and how to build a small community around us. And um, there were some people who weren't there. Uh, it was like we had been divided. Um, like there were two earths. There was a higher dimension earth and a lower dimension earth. And people who did not want to leave or couldn't leave because of their beliefs and behaviors um, stayed on the three-dimensional earth, and we were taken to the fifth dimensional earth. And um, it was like we were changed, we were healed, we were young, and healthy, and uh, I was thin again. And yeah, it was nice to have that dream, and they told me that it's going to be soon. Um, when you're talking to the angels, soon. They've been saying soon for over 15 years. Um, and so who knows? But they reminded me again that after God does this um, to move us forward into the new dimension, that Carl and I will have our family, our children, that I was promised over 30 years ago, um, and that the life that I was promised would be happening soon. Um, I talk about that in another one of my videos. um, and maybe I'll talk about it again sometime in the future, but um, so many people right now are very scared and worried and upset about starvation, about water, about uh, electricity, about homelessness, the banking crisis, and everything else that is going on right now in the world, and especially here in the United States. And the angels and God have told me not to worry about it, that we need to just have faith that God will see us through. And the reason God is going to be pouring all of this energy over the earth and changing things in our lives is because things have gotten so bad here on earth. And one, there's, you can say there's good and there's bad, or there's, opposite sides. And one group of people have forced their way here. They have created their life on earth that they want to have, and they've become elite, and they this is what they want. And there are many of us who don't want this. we have prayed and prayed and prayed that we need this to change. We're scared, we're hungry, people are homeless. Um, People live in fear right now. And God wants you to know that, He is watching, and it won't be long before He will be making the changes here that need to happen. Um, they say that it's not really going to be a sun flare, but it's going to be like a sun flare. It's actually going to be God's energy covering the earth. Um, but to begin with, people will think that it's a sun flare, and they're going to react to it in that way. And in fact, the people who are left on the 3D Earth will think that that's what has happened. Um, but for us, we will know differently, and our lives are going to be turned upside down in a very wonderful and loving way. There's going to be, more unity and kindness and love, and people are going to work together. We're not going to be slaves to the elite any longer. There's not going to be, the black market sex slaves and any of that stuff. It will all be done with. So, God and the angels just wanted me to share this message with you and let you know that even though things look bleak, God is with us, and God has us in His hands, and we will be perfectly fine. um, if you like my messages and my stories, please come back and join me. I try to upload 1 to 3 videos a week if I can. Now that I've been sick the last couple of weeks, it's been a bit slower, but I'm going to keep trying and I'll be here. So take care. Loving. Blessings, love, and light to you and yours. Please come back and see me soon. Bye bye.